You know what helps on a Monday? Coffee. You know what helps on a cold Monday?
Also coffee?
Coffee.
Yeah.
You know what helps on a cold Monday after a Packers loss?
I feel like I know where you're going with this, yeah.
Coffee. But do you really know what's in your coffee? Coffee shops right now have all their holiday drinks out, and they pack a lot of sugar. We love them, many of us, but they pack a lot of sugar. Do you want to know how much? I don't, but I do all at the same time.
Oh, and so do you look at calories as your indication of how much sugar is in it? It's a reasonable way to do it.
I don't look at calories. I've never really done that. Luckily, I haven't really needed to until maybe now. It's starting to feel a little bit. But I do think when I order one of these that there's a lot of sugar in there. You taste it, and you know you probably should be drinking something healthier. So we've got healthy living expert Paul Fulford. He is back with us on Midday to explain how much sugar is in these drinks and help us order a healthier version. Great to have you back, Paul.
Thank you for having me. And, I think one of the things that might be in that coffee after a Packers loss is a little bit of Kahlua to take the edge off, right? But
well, I got to work a little bit late today. Well, not a little bit late, I guess, but I was feeling just a little bit behind. So I was like, I ain't going to get coffee. I'll make a coffee run. So I went and picked up Jessica's order, and Gina, our producer, who aggressively drinks coffee. In fact, she has a sticker on her computer. And Jessica said, perfect. We've got Paul Fulford on today to talk about the kinds of things that are in our coffees. And sure enough, I'm looking at the menu at Starbucks, and it's like 500 calories to have a candy cane straw stuck in your eggnog latte. It's like, well, that seems like overdoing it. Mounds of whipped cream on top of that Frappuccino. It's just what's offered, and they're delicious, but it was like a 500-calorie bomb.
That's so true. And Paul, let me ask you this. So I know you can't see this, even though we can see you right now, but I'm holding it up for all of those who are streaming. I got today, and I don't always do a big one like this, but as I said, it's a Monday, it's cold, and the Packers lost yesterday. So I got a venti iced brown sugar oat milk shaken espresso. I love this thing. But it's also a venti. And then Greg got a grande something yummy.
I just did cold brew. That's pretty basic, and I had a little
but it had the
foam
on it. So I'm just curious, how much sugar is in these things?
Well, it depends on what you're ordering, And again, like I know talking with the producers prior to this, like they were like, oh my gosh, you guys are good. Like you guys love coffee. And I want to first say I'm not anti-coffee. I love coffee, but when you're starting your day off with some of these that are like 50 to 70 grams of sugar in liquid form, it's basically, hitting yourself with a sugar sledgehammer, right? It's not just also what's in the coffee as far as the sugar. It's what else is in there. There's things that are in there with syrups and gums and preservatives. And when you see natural flavors, that's that marketing word that basically says we build a lab-engineered flavor system from natural sounding materials and some helpers to make it stable and intense. So we're not going to tell you the full recipe, but basically it's a whole chemistry experiment in a festive cup, right?
So don't have fun this holiday season? Is that what you're saying, Paul?
No, I would say, look, there's, I guess if we're going to give the listeners something that I would say as kind of a rule to live by, is we can call it my Fulford Festive Five, if you will. There's 5 steps you could technically do, right? So I would say size down, right? If you want that grande, get a tall. If you want that venti, get a grande, right? Cut the pumps of syrup. I'm just going to sit here and try to be practical and not tell you how I drink coffee, right? If it comes with 4 pumps, get 2. You still get the flavor without, minimizing the sugar. Lose the whip or light whip. You don't need whipped cream on top of a mountain of sugar. And again, Wisconsin's dairy country, right? So it's hard to say cut out the milk, but I would say if you can, go almond milk or skim maybe, because even some of those other milks have preservatives in them. And then make it coffee forward. Like what you had this morning is like a cold brew or an Americano, and add one of those pumps of flavor just to give you the spirit, but not, destroy your day by taking in all those calories and empty calories, so to speak, on top of maybe eating breakfast alongside of it.
Okay, that was fantastic. You gave us tangible ways, things we can do starting tomorrow to change what we're ordering and to make our coffee healthier. I want to key in on one of those that you were talking about with the milk. How much does that make a difference as far as the milk? Are we talking about calories, fat, everything?
Both. Yeah, both. And again, some people are gluten-free, and the oat milk at Starbucks is actually gluten-free. So is the almond milk. But I'm also somebody that has my inflammatory foods dialed in, so I can't do almonds, and I try to minimize lactose. So if I'm going to get a Starbucks coffee, I get the oat milk.
Good to know. That's become your go-to, Jessica. That's become your go-to, the oat milk shaken espresso.
It is, and I think it's for a couple of reasons. One, I think it helps my throat. I don't have that kind of feeling that I sometimes have with the other milk. Plus, I just love brown sugar. But, Paul, I love brown sugar. That's part of the problem.
Well, and I also think this time of year, it's one of those things we also find ourselves wanting to consume more because we're indoors more and you're not seeing the daylight as much when it's cold, right? And those change our chemistry. Like that changes our circadian rhythm. It changes our hormones. So you do want to consume more, and you do crave sugar and carbs because of that.
Interesting stuff. I'm fast. No, there's that time of year, though, right? I mean, all this stuff pops up. You go to any holiday celebration. I go upstairs here, right? There's just like 3 dozen cupcakes just sitting on the counter, right? There's breads and cookies and holiday celebrations and chocolates. It's hard to avoid, and that's a microcosm of the time.
And it's just fun, too. It's the marketing behind it. Oh, okay, we've got the holiday drinks out now. You got the caramel brulee latte or the peppermint hot chocolate, things like that. I know it depends on what exactly you're ordering, but is there something you could compare it to? Like, say you were getting a grande caramel brulee latte. Does that have as much sugar as a candy bar, or is there something tangible where you could just that when we go to order it next time, if we want to cut back, we can think about that? You can get this coffee, or you could eat this, and it'd be the same.
So if you think about it in context, right, the classics, the peppermint mocha, the caramel brulee latte, the eggnog latte, those are about 50 grams in sugar alone, right? A regular size Snickers bar is 27 grams of sugar. So that's basically, and that's a grande size, right? Like venti's even more, right? So you're eating 2 Snickers bars in your coffee with a grande when you're doing those. Right? Again, it is festive. It is that time of year, but it's just something to think about. And I think another thing people forget is staying hydrated also can help you feel fuller longer, right? And taking in more amounts of quality protein can also help you feel fuller. So when those cravings hit out of boredom or just because we're indoors, less sunlight, it's cold out, you're full and you're not craving those sugars and those carbs.
Okay, I got to take a vote here. Greg, now knowing what you know, thanks to Paul, having more information. I mean, we knew these weren't good for us, but to have more information like this, will you change any of your ways?
So I kind of have a rule when and the calorie thing makes sense to me. Like I look at that. So I try and limit my coffee purchases, whatever I'm going to drink, to 150 calories or less. So it keeps me out of the add-ons, the additional pumps of whatever, a lot of lattes. I don't love 2% milk. Milk and I don't have the best relationship. So I try to go cold brew, a little bit of cream, and I'm good. It's maybe 100 calories, and it's fine. So I don't feel like I'm overdoing it. I govern myself as the best I can.
And the person who loves coffee more than any of us, our grand producer, I should say our grande, but that's different. That's about size. And she's tiny. She's a little pint, right? She's with a big personality here. Gina, you love coffee so much. Will this change any of your habits?
I want to say yes, but no.
So here's the thing. I think this won't change all of my habits, but there are some days when maybe I don't need it, that I'm going to think about what Paul has to say and make a healthier choice or decide not going to do it today.
It's tough this holiday season.
I would say things, again, the Bible says anything in moderation is okay, right? I mean, but I would say if you're not doing it every day, again, there's something to be said for the mental aspect of rewarding yourself and the joy, right? So if it's something that you do occasionally, it's not going to kill you. You just have to log it and track it, right? And the thing that you all mentioned that, keeping it at a certain caloric intake, Starbucks does at least a decent job at showing you what the calories are if you look at the app for the drinks, right? So you can kind of say, okay, as long as I order it this way and I subtract from it, it's going to be that or less calories.
Thank you so much. You really clued us in. Now I got to finish my sip and not order one tomorrow.
That's how you'll govern yourself this holiday season.
Oh, Fulford, healthy living expert. Thanks for joining us again on Midday.
Thank you very much for having me again.